Good morning. I'd like to welcome all of you to the Assembly Committee on Housing of April 29. We have today 15 items on the agenda, 3 of which are on consent. We'd like to start with our Speaker Atkins. Would you like to present your bill? We do not have a quorum yet, so we start as a subcommittee. And welcome to our committee. Welcome back to our committee, I should say.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. As I understand it, I think because of witnesses on the other bill, I'm starting with 1335. Is that your
Absolutely. That'd be fine.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Chairman and members, I am incredibly happy to be here today to present AB 1335. And let me start by saying I'm happy to take the amendments outlined in the committee analysis that helps fix some unintended drafting errors and strengthens the intent of the bill. And I want to thank you and your staff for the diligent work they've done to help us on this. I've named AB 1335 the Building Homes and Jobs Act because that name cuts right to the point of what this bill would do if it becomes law. AB 1335 creates a permanent funding source for affordable housing programs, which will enable the state to invest in building such housing, making home ownership a reality for many more Californians, and beginning to respond to the significant deficit of affordable housing in every part of our state. The Building Homes and Jobs Act will utilize a pay-as-you-go approach and generate hundreds of millions of dollars annually for affordable housing through a $75 fee on real estate recorded documents, excluding those documents associated with real estate sales. The fee is capped at $225 on a per-parcel, per-transaction basis. The funds generated will leverage an additional $2 to $3 billion in federal, local, and bank investment. As members of this committee, you've already heard time and time again about the crisis we are in. But let me quickly lay out the challenges again. According to the Public Policy Institute of California, as of February 2015, roughly 36% of mortgaged homeowners and approximately 48% of all renters are spending more than a third of their household incomes on housing. California continues to have the second lowest homeownership rate in the nation, and the Los Angeles metropolitan area is now a majority renter region. In fact, 5 of the 8 lowest homeownership rates in the nation are in California metropolitan cities. California has 12% of the United States population, but 20% of its homeless population. 63% of those homeless Californians are unsheltered, which is the highest rate in the nation. California has 24% of the nation's homeless veterans and a third of the nation's chronically homeless. The state also has the largest numbers of unaccompanied homeless children and youth, with 30% of the national total. For the first time ever, Standard & Poor's Rating Services cited California's persistently high cost of housing as a contributing to a relatively weaker business climate and a credit weakness in the rating of California general obligation bonds. We've not seen this happen before. We know that increasing the construction, building, and availability of affordable housing is good for our economy, the budget, job creation, and for families. AB 1335 is a similar approach to a bill that passed through this committee last legislative session, but it's not exactly the same. I've made a few changes in order to be responsive to the concerns that we have heard. Most notable among these changes is the cap that we have put on the fee. A single transaction would not have to pay this fee more than 3 times. So if the transaction required the recording of more than 3 documents, it would only pay the fee on the first 3 recorded. Recent amendments have also made clear that 20% of the funds will go towards affordable home ownership. The American dream can still be in reach for low-income Californians, and my bill will help make that a reality. As I wrap up, I'd like to say a little more about our funding source. We all know that there's no easy place to go to find new revenues, but this committee knows all too well that we must act to replace the $1.5 billion annual state investment that was wiped out when voter-approved housing bonds were expended and redevelopment funding eliminated. Document recording fees are one of the most common funding sources states use to fund affordable housing. These fees are working not just in 1 or 2 other places, but across the board in both Democratic and Republican-leaning states. There has been no negative impact claimed in these states' markets, and in fact, Ohio recently lifted the cap on what their document recording fee could produce because there was so much need and it's working so well. And that's why we have such a broad coalition of supporters. Here with me to testify today are Silvio Ferrari, Vice President of Legislative Affairs for the California Building Industry Association, and Seamus Roller, the Executive Director for Housing California.
Thank you very much. And before we go to our witnesses, I'd like to establish quorum. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Chow.
Here.
Chow here. Steinorth. Here. Steinorth here. Burke. Burke here. Chu. Chu here. Gaines. Lopez. Mullen.
Very good. We do have quorum. Let's go to our witnesses. Please proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, committee members. I'm Silvio Ferrari with the California Building Industry Association, here in very strong support today. Mr. Chairman, members, our members did not come to their support position this bill lightly. They fully understand and are very, very willing to pay this fee to help bolster the housing in the state of California. We understand that we are going to be part of the solution in paying this recording fee, and we are on board with that. Hopefully, you've all seen recently the legislative analyst report that cited that California housing costs are 150% higher than the national average, and that we need to increase 100,000 units annually to help control that rising housing costs. I think even more startling in the report was the fact that there's a very direct link between California's high housing costs and, unfortunately, our state's worst in the nation poverty rating. The most direct path to resolving this dilemma is by increasing the supply of both market rate and affordable housing, and that is why CBIA and our collective members are in such strong support. And I think when you look in the analysis, you see a number of major business organizations also in support, from the Apartment Association to the Orange County Business Council to the LA Business Council, San Diego Regional Chamber, just to name a few, but it goes on and on. You know, companies in California simply cannot compete for the talent that drives our California economy without providing a more robust supply of affordable housing to the workers. You know, and unfortunately, what we've seen over the past several years is a major decrease in the availability of resources to bring a public and private partnership. It has dried up, and that's why this bill is truly critical. So what is needed is a permanent source to help renew that critical supply of housing affordable to our California working families. But the added benefit of all of this is the job creation. The simple fact that $500 million of investment in affordable housing is going to generate about 29,000 jobs. And that is something we should all be very supportive of. You know, and I think I would just close by saying, you know, it's very sad and unfortunate for the people in California that finding an affordable house is becoming more and more difficult, and it's becoming more and more of an out-of-reach dream. And, you know, that's what we hope this bill and believe this bill will do, is bring that dream and that connection closer to the people, also while ensuring that we don't undermine the gains in the economy that we've already seen since the Great Recession took place. So I'll just close by saying this is a very special moment in time to do something very beneficial for your constituents and the people of California for housing affordability. Thank you for your time. Just strongly urge an aye vote.
Thank you for your testimony. Next witness, please.
Chair Chow and members of the committee, my name is Seamus Roller. I'm here on behalf of Housing California and our partners at the California Housing Consortium, part of the broad coalition that I think Silvio started to outline. You know, it's a coalition I don't think you see on many other bills. Everyone from, you know, chambers of commerce, the BIA, to labor unions, social service organizations, many cities that are really understand why this is so important, why we need investment. And part of that is because between 2007 and 2014, we saw a 79% drop in funding in the state for affordable development because of the loss of redevelopment agencies, the winding down of bonds, and cuts at the federal level. In California, you know, there's various ways to look at this problem, but I think so much about the 1/4 of all renters who are paying more than half of their incomes in rent. And when you pay more than half of your income in rent, you spend less money on food, you spend less money on education, you spend less money on health care, you spend less money on retirement. It's so difficult to plan and to build for the future if all of that money is just going out the door to pay rent. And this is, you know, I think such a critical time to address that issue. I also think, you know, Silvio did such a good job at talking about the business side of this, as housing is infrastructure, as jobs. In addition, really targeting housing deals with some of our most complicated those complicated problems. You had a development like Mercy Mission Creek, which was taking people direct referrals out of skilled nursing facilities and out of the hospitals. And what they found is that with the first 50 people, that they found a $29,000 reduction per person per year in Medicaid and Medicare costs. That housing can be a solution that saves the state money, in addition to all of the great financial benefits that it brings in jobs and in economic development. For our members, I think this is our top priority, is this piece of legislation, and we urge your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Next witness, please.
Christopher Carlisle with the California Association of Realtors. First off, I'd like to thank the Speaker and her staff for getting the bill to this point, both as introduced and with regard to the amendments that were accepted today. From our perspective, there's just one outstanding issue with regard to the establishment of a governing board that will control the distribution of the funds. We've been assured by the Speaker's staff that will be resolved to our satisfaction, and with that, we will move to active support on this measure.
Thank you very much. Others in support of the measure, please step forward. Your name, association, and also your position, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. Tim Cromartie on behalf of the League of California Cities in support of the bill.
Thank you. Next witness, please.
Hello, Christy Foy in support on behalf of the City of Long Beach and also the Association of Bay Area Governments. Thank you.
Next, please.
Good morning. Nicolo DeLuca on behalf of the cities of Tulare, Oakland, Emeryville, San Leandro, Santa Ana, and South San Francisco in support.
Thank you. Next.
Marina White with the California Housing Consortium in strong support.
Thank you.
Maureen Higgins representing Biocom and its over 600 member life sciences companies in support.
Thank you.
Mary Ellen Shea, California Association of Housing Authorities and Local Housing Finance Agencies, support.
Thank you.
Good morning. Paul Gonzalez representing the cities of Thousand Oaks, Lakewood, and Indian Wells in support.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members, Cesar Diaz on behalf of the State Building and Construction Trades Council, also in support.
Thank you.
Sylvia Solis Shaw on behalf of the City of Los Angeles and Mayor Eric Garcetti in strong support, and also on behalf of the City of Santa Monica in support.
Thank you.
Hi, Sydney Reyes with the California Partnership to End Domestic Violence in support.
Thank you.
Michael Lane with the Nonprofit Housing Association, Northern California, in strong support.
Thank you.
Christopher Castrillo on behalf of the City and County of San Francisco and the Office of Mayor Ed Lee in support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. Moira Top here on behalf of both the Orange County Business Council and the City of San Diego in support.
Thank you.
Michael Radigan on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, Santa Clara County in support.
Thank you.
Jeff Schaefer from Los Angeles Enterprise Community Partners, National Nonprofit, in support.
Thank you.
Brian Augusta on behalf of the California Rural Legal Assistance Foundation, Western Center on Law and Poverty, and the California Coalition for Rural Housing in support.
Thank you.
John Leonard on behalf of the City of West Hollywood in support.
Thank you.
Tiffany White on behalf of Bridge Housing in support.
Thank you.
Christina Lockie with the California Special Districts Association in support.
Thank you.
Chris Lee on behalf of the California State Association of Counties. We have a supportive amended position. We have some minor technical concerns about the collection of the fee, but we think we can work with the author staff to resolve those. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Shanta Bacon with the California Apartment Association in support.
Thank you.
Laura Parr on behalf of the City of Napa in support.
Thank you.
Morning. Patrick Sablehouse on behalf of the California Council for Affordable Housing. Inadvertently left off the support list. We do support it. Thank you.
Thank you much.
Good morning. David Bejarano on behalf of the California Police Chiefs Association in support.
Thank you. Anyone else in support? Seeing and hearing none. Witnesses in opposition to the bill, please step forward. Feel free to sit at the desk.
Hello, my name is Gregory Diaz. I'm the Nevada County Recorder and representing the County Recorders Association of California. We are in opposition to this bill. Historically, in our office, we do collect and safeguard the official record, records of private acts. Typically, historically, we've been opposed to fees that have nothing to do with the function of the office. There's no nexus here with this legislation in terms of housing transactions are exempt. Other transactions, I'm going to have to stick this $75 bill on these people to illustrate. My county, Truckee, Guy who comes in, buys a $1.5 million second home, no fee. The roofer who put the roof on that house last week, who didn't get paid by the owner, he's coming up to my counter to file a mechanics lien. I have to put that $75 fee for this guy. Many of our transactions are affecting the low-income people, and when they come in to better their lives, trying to get paid, releasing liens, we're going to have to impose this $75 bill. We do feel that the legislation, the aim of the legislation is on the right track. We're just asking for some time to hammer out details in the legislation to make it more equitable. Implementation problems is the second main point. Some of the wording in a bill, a single transaction. I've been involved in large transactions. You'll have land leases, shell corporations, ownership issues. To me, that's litigation and waiting, and also the amount is not going to be certain every year. Again, we feel that there's a solution. This fee can be applied to every document recorded in California. You're going to have a certain amount of revenue that you could depend on each year. And we're just asking for time to work with the Speaker, and the Speaker has been very gracious working with us. But with some more time, we feel we can have better legislation for this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Next witness in opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Carrie Mazzoni for the educational community of homeowners, as well as I'm representing Skip Dahm today of Capital Communications Group on behalf of the Community Associations Institute. Both organizations are opposed to this bill. We're concerned that the burden of this will be passed on to homeowners in some of our most affordable housing in California in condominium developments, where we find people buying their first home or downsizing to their last home. Homeowners associations file a number of documents, and this would increase the charges to homeowners associations, which in turn would be then divided among their members, and additional assessments might have to be drawn. We feel that there are some unintended consequences. For example, in a homeowners association, a condominium development where someone is facing foreclosure, it's highly likely that they have not been paying their assessments if they're facing foreclosure. Also, with the foreclosure, the person being foreclosed upon is also accountable for the fees, the document fees. And that would mean filing of the lien, removal of the lien, additional filings. So we think that this burden, particularly when there's an exemption for real estate sales, is really inequitable. And we would hope that the author, and we feel that this is really a noble goal, but we would hope that the author would consider the impact on these condominium, particularly condominium developments that house some of our low-income people. So we would ask for your no vote.
Thank you for your testimony. Anyone else in opposition to the bill? Please step forward. There's a mic there. Seeing and hearing none, let's bring back to the table all the proponents as well for questions and answers, if they would like to come back up to the table, as well as the opposition if you'd like to stay at the table. So with that, I'd like to bring it back to the committee. I'd like to open it up for questions and comments from committee members. Mr. Chu, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I simply want to say just how incredibly excited I am about moving this forward, and how proud I am, along with many, to have the opportunity to co-author this. I think that AB 1335 and the rest of the Democratic Assembly housing package is the most important thing that we can move this year. Certainly that's the case for my city of San Francisco, with some of the highest rents and home prices in the state, but that's certainly true not just for the Bay Area, but for all of the state of California, with the most expensive metropolitan areas in the country. With $1.5 billion a year of cuts in redevelopment and bond funds, this permanent source of funding is a critical down payment to making sure that our American dream for working families of being able to live in an affordable home is realized, and to reverse skyrocketing income inequality being driven by home costs. And I want to take a moment and first thank all the housing advocates who've been working together. I want to give a special thanks to the realtors. I know, speaking to our local realtors, this has not been an easy conversation, but I, for one, thank you for your work with our speaker on this. And I want to thank Speaker Atkins. She has been a lifelong champion for affordable housing. It is my hope that this year our legislature can deliver a legacy for Speaker Atkins, for this legislature, and for millions of Californians to come. And at the appropriate time, I'd like to motion that we move this forward.
The measure has been moved. Is there a second? We have 3 seconds. Mr. Mullen, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Very briefly, just want to thank Madam Speaker for your leadership on this issue. Hailing from San Mateo County in a high-cost area, we are at a crisis point, and I don't use that word lightly, on affordability, and this is a key step for us to take. So proud to co-author and proud to join in the sentiments of my colleague from the neighbor to the north. So pleased to support the bill today.
Thank you very much. Any additional comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, I want to also echo my colleagues' comments. I want to thank you, Madam Chair, Speaker, for championing a very important cause. I know that we started doing this about a year ago with SB 391, and we acknowledge the crisis situation in the state of California when it comes to affordable housing. As been pointed out, we are way short as far as affordable housing is concerned. And with the elimination of the RDA, we lost about more than $1 billion every year just for affordable housing. And this is something that we have to deal with right now. So I want to thank you again, Madam Speaker, for championing a very, very good cause. So with that, the recommendation is do pass. And Madam Secretary, please, I'm sorry, please close.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just very quickly, this is actually the third round on this piece of legislation. And we have, I just want to assure people, we have worked as hard as we could to bring everybody in. It's taken that long. I am not unaware of some of the concerns that have been expressed certainly by people who are here saying we have concerns, we're in opposition. Any technical fixes or definitions we will continue to look at between now and when this moves to appropriations, much like the one issue we are still working on at the request of the realtors. So I'm not unaware. I think we've done everything we could to listen to every person in the world. If I could broaden this fee, I would. We need more money than this is going to bring in, but that would pose a whole other set of issues, and it's taken us a long time to get here. So I would say we will continue to work on some outstanding issues, technical definitions, fixes, but I just want to thank everyone that's at the table, the broad coalition of people that have worked, and this is a collaboration. My colleagues, so many of my colleagues who are joint authors and others have really worked in their communities to get the support we need. And so this is a collaboration that I am really proud of. It's hard to make everything exactly perfect. I think we're pretty darn close on this. And to those who've worked so hard over the years, the coalition and all the people here today, I just want to say thank you, and thank you for the work you've done, Mr. Chairman, to bring us to this point. And I respectfully ask for I vote.
Thank you very much. Again, the recommendation is do pass with amendments. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Motion states do pass as amended to the Committee on Appropriations. Chow?
Aye.
Chow, aye. Steinort?
No.
Steinort, no. Burke? Aye. Burke, aye. Chu? Aye. Chu, aye. Gaines? Lopez? Aye. Lopez, aye. Mullen? Aye. Mullen, aye.
Your bill is out. Congratulations. I believe you have a second bill.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I will move right into it as my speakers and witnesses come forward. I'm here to present AB 1056, which creates the Second Chance Program for Community Reentry. This program will help guide the savings realized from the Safe Neighborhoods and Schools Act of 2014, or Proposition 47, and provide funding for collaborative, community-based proposals to assist formerly incarcerated persons with housing, behavioral health, drug treatment, and other services. The goal of the program and the guidelines will be to help these individuals successfully re-enter the community and get their lives back on track. As you know, increasing numbers of formerly incarcerated individuals are returning to our communities as a result of prison overcrowding directives, as well as recent public safety reforms such as AB 109 and Proposition 47. Due to their criminal backgrounds, many of these individuals have tremendous difficulty securing housing and employment. Compounding these challenges is the fact that they also often suffer from mental health issues or substance abuse disorders. Housing formerly incarcerated individuals can serve as the literal and figurative foundation of successful reintegration into our community. It allows them to seek employment, pursue educational opportunities, and participate in anti-recidivism programs without the fear of not having a place to sleep. Additionally, having a place to live increases the effectiveness of behavioral health or drug treatment programs that they're required to participate in, as well as decreases the likelihood that they will interact with law enforcement due to homelessness. By prioritizing collaborative grant proposals that bring together behavioral health services, housing supports, diversion programs, and other community-based reentry assistance, AB 1056 will help ensure that Proposition 47 savings are used meaningfully to really help reduce recidivism and enhance the safety of our communities. And here to testify in support of AB 1056 is Melina Blake, Californians for Safety and Justice, John Balders from the Housing California, and Chief Bejarano, California Police Chiefs Association, and a longtime friend in public safety. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go to our first witness.
Good morning. Melina Blake with Californians for Safety and Justice. Our sister C4 organization was the sponsor of Proposition 47. When we drafted Prop 47, we did purposefully leave the spending language fairly broad to allow for more specificity going forward in the future. And we're pleased that the Speaker is providing the leadership here in AB 1056 to provide that direction. For example, it gives the BSCC more direction in distributing those funds, for example, leveraging housing, for example, or partnerships with community-based organizations and leveraging other existing funds such as savings from AB 109 or other public safety funds. So urge your support today and happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next witness, please.
John Bowders, Policy Director at Housing California. We would like to echo the sentiments of our partners in the public safety and restorative justice communities. As the Speaker mentioned, this will go a long way towards reducing homelessness. Voters approved a measure that prioritized mental health, substance use disorder, and diversion program expenditures. This bill layers into that priorities for the BSCC to consider in awarding proposals with grant money. Those priorities, housing assistance, job skills training, and other types of community-based supportive services will go a long way, not just to reducing recidivism, but reducing homelessness, increasing employment opportunities, removing families from welfare assistance, and strengthening communities. So we would urge your support today.
Thank you very much. Next witness, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair. David Bejarano, California Police Chiefs Association. And we're here to state our strong support of AB 1056. As you know, we're in our fourth year implementing one of the most significant public safety reforms in recent history, AB 109, and now most recently, Prop 47. We have a history, and I speak for San Diego County and on behalf of the association, in speaking to chiefs and seeing best practices up and down the state. Local law enforcement, community-based partnerships are working. And the majority of the individuals that we're working with, as far as the transformation of lives, the change in lives from jail to homelessness, et cetera, deals again with individuals with mental illness issues and those with a drug addiction. Those are the people that we're focusing on. And the success that we've seen is when they have stable, long-term housing. And we have a great partnership in San Diego, and I was the chief in San Diego who established the homeless outreach team. They were not an enforcement team, but a resource team. And they simply connected individuals to those treatment services providers in the community, and most importantly, housing. If they're in housing, they're going to be successful. If they're not, they're probably going to be back in that cycle of jail and being homelessness. So it's really critical to have that safe, stable housing for these individuals. The only request I may have of the Speaker might be on the 24-month cap for rental assistance. What I've seen in San Diego County and Chula Vista, that's probably the appropriate time frame, the 24 months for the majority of these individuals that are receiving that treatment and services up to the 24 months. But there are some cases where they might need a little bit more time. It might be a month, 2 or 3 months, a little bit longer. So if we allow that flexibility, it would be a shame to lose that investment in time and the services and the funding if these individuals are out right at the 24 months when they're so short, again, of making that significant change in their life. But once again, a strong support of AB 1056.
Thank you very much. Additional witnesses in support of the bill.
Mr. Chairman, committee member Silvio Ferrari with the California Building Industry Association in support.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi, Darby Kernan with the California State Association of Counties and on behalf of the California Welfare Directors Association. With the current amendments in the bill and being more consistent with Proposition 47, we support the bill.
Thank you very much. Next.
Marina White with the California Housing Consortium in support.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair and members, Khalif Asagay on behalf of NAMI California, strong support.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, Christy Foy on behalf of the City of Long Beach in strong support.
Thank you.
Michael Radigan on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, Santa Clara County, in support.
Thank you.
Michael Lane with the Nonprofit Housing Association, Northern California, in strong support.
Thank you.
Mary Ellen Shea, California Association of Housing Authorities and Local Housing Finance Agencies, support.
Thank you.
Christopher Castrillo on behalf of the City and County of San Francisco and the Office of Mayor Ed Lee, in support.
Thank you.
Misty Rojo, Justice Now Advocacy Organization working with people in women's prisons, strong support.
Thank you.
Stephanie Medley with Rise Center in Richmond in strong support.
Thank you.
Sylvia Solisha on behalf of City of Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti in support, and also on behalf of the City of Santa Monica in support.
Thank you.
Good morning. Emily Harris with the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights in support.
Thank you.
Irona Lofton, Reentry Housing Case Manager, and I strongly support.
Thank you.
Heather Warnken on behalf of the Women's Foundation of California Women's Policy Institute in strong support.
Thank you.
Marlene Hurd, Healthy Community, City of Oakland in strong support.
Thank you.
Good morning, Zella Knight, representing the County of Los Angeles Housing Authority, Housing Commissioner representing the homeless and formerly homeless. Strongly support this bill.
Thank you.
Jeff Schaefer, Enterprise Community Partners, in strong support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Patrick Sablehouse on behalf of the California Council for Affordable Housing in support.
Thank you.
Jarrell Scott Huggins on behalf of the City of Oakland, support.
Thank you. Anyone else? Let's go to witnesses in opposition to the bill. Please step forward. Seeing and hearing none, let's bring it back to the committee. Any questions or comments from committee members? Mr. Steinhoff.
I would like to first say thank you very much to the Speaker for bringing this bill forward. I also would like to really comment on Mr. Bowders. Thank you for your work with our committee to be able to make sure that, I think the efforts that we put forward here has really been enthusiastic, and I appreciate the work that you've done with us. And I would be honored to move the bill.
Thank you.
Do I have a second? The bill has been moved and seconded. Any additional comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, the recommendation is do pass. Again, I want to thank you for your work, Madam Speaker. And the recommendation is to pass as amended. So with that, would you like to close?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. I would just say in response to Chief Bejarano, we will, between now and appropriations, work certainly with the sponsors and the stakeholders to determine what amount of flexibility we can give on the amount of time. So thank you for that comment. With that, I would ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Motion states, do pass as amended to the Committee on Appropriations. Chow.
Aye.
Chow, aye. Steinorth. Aye. Steinorth, aye. Burke. Aye. Burke, aye. Chu. Gaines. Lopez. Aye. Lopez, aye. Mullen.
The bill is out. Congratulations again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That would be a wood night. Next, let's go to Assemblymember Wood on AB 325. That's item 2 on the agenda.